Welcome to Tuesdays with Maury. Yesterday was a crazy day, so there was no live. I wanted to come live today with you because I want to share with you some really great insight that I just received from an experience that happened on Saturday night. And when I do these lives, what I do is I create an energetic container. Okay, this container, when you step into the live, starts sending your body healing and awarenesses so you can tap into my message on a stronger, deeper level. Because what I'm sharing with you is really big information that can really transform your life if you let it. If you allow it to really sink in and you really contemplate it and you don't just swipe forward and move on and get back into your day. If you really allow yourself to tune in to the energy behind the words, you would be amazed at the transformation that shows up for you in your life. So while I'm speaking and sharing this story with you, I would love for you to just be really present in your body. If you're able to just take a deep breath in and breathe out and really tune in to the message behind the words and the energy that comes with it. So on Saturday night, I was sitting on a couch with my husband and we were just hanging out and looking at different things online and having a really nice conversation. It was very good, light energy. And we were looking at one of the reels and we started a conversation around it. It was nothing too crazy. It wasn't anything that is triggering in any way. It was just some information about new AI technology that we were sharing and talking about. And somehow the conversation got heated up and I felt really triggered. And I wasn't sure of where and what it was coming from, but it ended up kind of exploding and becoming this way long, I would say, argument that really stemmed from seemingly nothing. And when stuff like that happens, a lot of times I notice that everything happens for a reason. I'm a very firm believer in this. And so I love to sit and contemplate it. What happened? How did it happen? What did I say? How did I feel? And what I realized was that there was a lot of words or sentences or energy that triggered me and what he was saying. And even though he didn't say anything offensive, anything hurtful, there was a lot of triggering. And so I immediately jumped into defense. And what I realized with this is that when you come from a background that has trauma in it, right? My parents got divorced when I was young. The communication in my family was very loud, very aggressive. There was a lot of shame and guilt in the communication, a lot of yelling. And so in his family, none of that existed, right? His parents are still very much in love. They have high school sweethearts, really great communication. And so when you come with that kind of baggage, a lot of times that is the place you respond from. That is what is triggering in you. And so what I want to share with you is to start being aware of what it feels like when you are starting to be triggered. Because it's this little moment in time where you'll notice your heartbeat is getting faster. Your pulse is getting faster. Your breathing is getting shorter, right? There's this window of almost like a trigger has been caught, the button has been pushed, and you're like, ooh, okay, you're fired up. Be aware that that is your trauma. Be aware that your trigger that's triggering you is the trauma, is the past. It's rearing its end. I just took this amazing manifestation class with a mentor named Jody, and I love what she used this technique where you name the traumas different things, right? So if you have fear, you can name him like Fear Freddy. And I love that. And so I'm going to use this as an example, and we're going to say Tammy trauma or you can call her whatever you want, Tali trauma, whatever you want to call her. But notice when Tammy trauma rears her head. Notice what happens to your body. Notice where are you responding from? And start noticing what is it doing for you. Okay? A lot of times we can look at these situations in hindsight and we regret what we did. We regret the things we said. We regret the actions that we took. We regret maybe not saying anything. There's a lot of regret that goes on. And so if you can stop it before it actually happens, if you can reel it back in, if you can take a deep breath, if you say, you know what, I'm feeling really triggered. I need to take a moment to myself. Step out. I'll be right back. Step out, breathe, drink water, regulate your nervous system. Because when you have trauma in your body and you're triggered, everything is flared up. It's really hard when the fire is already out there to take it down. But if there's this little crickling of fire and you pour water on it, it relaxes and it's not happening, right? And so I invite you to play with this. Play with this and tune into it, and maybe even sit right now and contemplate with yourself on past situations that you had with people, how maybe you blew up at them because you were triggered. Notice when it is that you are triggered, when it is that you're blown up, right? There's conversations that I'm sure that are totally fine. Nothing is really triggering for you. When is it triggering for you? I noticed for me, I get really triggered when it's related to my idea of my self-worth, my idea of my value, my idea of my contribution. Those are things that immediately spark some kind of trauma reaction, trauma trigger in my body, because as a child, I always had to prove I was good enough. And I know a lot of women deal with this, right? A lot of women that have been through trauma have a problem with feeling good enough. And when you don't feel good enough and your worth is questioned, you are triggered. And a lot of times, a lot of time we respond in these big blown up ways, or we just walk away and say nothing. And that is just as bad, because we can spend years contemplating what I wish I said, what I wish I did. And we don't want to be in that situation. So if this is you, if this is something that you're dealing with, if you feel like this is really stopping you in your life from having those deep relationships, if you fear that you acting like this is actually passing the trauma on to your children because they're looking at you and they see what you're doing and they're learning communication skills from you. And so it's very important to start being aware to how it is that you communicate, what it is that you're saying, what kind of energy do you have behind your words, right? So many times we're rushing through the door, we're rushing through life, things are happening, and we're not aware of how we say things and the energy behind them. Tune into that energy. Tune in and see what happens and what shows up for you. So, thank you so much for joining me for this live. If this was a contribution, if you know somebody that's dealing with this, somebody that's been through trauma, we can call it trauma. It will be Trauma and Tammy. And you know that they're struggling, please share this with them. It might bring some awareness to them as well. And this was a contribution for you. Please like. This is how the algorithm knows to send you and show you more of my videos, of my reels when I go live. So you can jump into these mini healing sessions and really start transforming your life on a deeper level. And if you feel like you're ready to go on this voyage to self-discovery, to clearing trauma out of your body, to really stepping into your power and not allowing your past to control the person you're meant to be, please contact me. I would love to get to know you. I would love to sit down and have a conversation and see how we can become voyage partners. So have a beautiful rest of your week. I hope you're enjoying summer. It's gorgeous here in Oregon. Everything is so green and the sun is shining. And I wish for you that you start noticing that everything that's triggering you is actually a gift to elevate you higher and higher into that fifth dimension consciousness. Have a beautiful day. Bye.